Okay, so how was the American and European shows for you guys?
Weird. They were amazing. Like it's such a great opportunity, and it was a real learning curve because it was the first festival, the biggest shows we played by a mile, and the first kind of festival setting shows we've played as well. But I mean, it was amazing the fact that like at Leipzig we played at I think it's 12:30, and there were already like 8,000 people there, so, which is insane for us. Like that's outrageous. But I mean, everybody was very respectful considering it was such a diverse lineup as well. There was nobody. It didn't feel like we were unwelcome at any of the festivals. They were all really good, Manchester included. It wasn't just like a mainland European thing. Remember, we were really late getting to Manchester because our van had blown some tyres the day before, so we had to sort out like a replacement van and then get ourselves up to Manchester. And we ended up like turning up about an hour before we went on stage. And I think I went into the room just before Higher Power were about to play, and there were like 100 people in there, and I was like, oh fuck, oh, am I allowed to swear?
Yeah, go for it.
Sorry. I was like, hey, no, this is a lot of work to play for 100 people. And then like, I came out and I didn't manage to catch Higher Power because I was doing our merch. And then we went like, I think Adam and Liam went in to watch them, and they were like, man, that was sick. And I was like, really? Like, you know, it didn't look too busy. And then we went backstage and we set up to play, and then like we came out and the room was completely packed, and I was like, oh my god. Yeah, and then like we just noticed like throughout the day people just kind of coming in and coming out, and it was just like a theme through the day. But I mean, all of them were insane. They were really cool.
So obviously you didn't have much luck with transport on those shows. Was that sort of scary, some of the situations for you guys?
Both times we had trouble, or all three times rather, I was sleeping. So like the first time I just woke up and the van was stopped, and I could just hear cars like hammering past the van. And I was like, man, we parked real close to the road. And then I kind of got out, because we had like bunks in the back of it, and I kind of got out my bunk and started walking towards the front, and then just as I got to the front of the van, like our driver got on, he was like, nah, it's fucked. And I was like, what's wrong? And he was like, oh yeah, we're about 3 hours from the venue, but we've blown 2 of our tyres. And I was just like, oh right, okay, great. I was like, when did that happen? He was like, yeah, we were just driving and both of them just went. And I was like, could have died, awesome. And then the next time we were on our way into Poland, and Adam kind of like, I was really sick on that tour, so I was like sleeping as much as I could. And then Adam came to the back of the van and started shaking me. He's like, "You gotta get out your bunk. You gotta get up." And I was like, "Man, I'm really ill. What's wrong?" Like, surely, like our tour manager was there as well. I was like, "Surely, whatever it is, Alec can sort it out. You don't need me to be out." He's like, "No, the van's on fire." I was like, "Oh right, okay, good. All right then." And I got it, like, just poked my head on my bunk and just smoke everywhere. And I was like, "Oh my god, I'm gonna die." And then yeah, it happened again. Like the next night, like we managed to fix it and get to Poland, and then we started driving again, and all of us kind of went to sleep. And then like 2 hours into the drive, the driver just pulled over and was like, "Nah, there's more smoke coming out." And I was like, "Sick." But yeah, it was. It's the first time we've ever had to cancel shows because of transport, and it's only the second time we've ever had to cancel shows anyway. So it sucked, but like, I mean, we had the choice after the Poland show when there was still like a load of smoke coming out the van. The driver was like, look, I can either push it and we'll go to Budapest, and if we break down, we'll probably have to cancel the rest of the tour and you guys will have to fly home, or we could drive it into Germany, I'll get it fixed properly, and then we'll finish the tour. And I was like, okay, yeah, that makes sense. But it was, yeah, frightening.
So in terms of Casey, who are your influences?
It's kind of difficult to say because all of us, between us, we listen to a really diverse like range of music, and we do kind of, it's not the case that we all have like a central pool and then there's just kind of outcrops. Like we all do listen to very different stuff. So Adam listens to a lot more like hardcore and thrash and things like that. I know he's loving the new Incendiary record at the minute. And then like Max will listen to a lot of hip hop and trap and rap. Toby listens to a lot of like post rock, and then like a lot of prog and stuff as well. Liam listens to a lot of like emo, and then I'll listen to a lot of post-hardcore. So we are definitely like a product. We're a sum of our parts rather than like an individual kind of collective. Like we are just five very different pieces that come together and make something individual. But I mean, the bands we get compared to a lot of things like Touche Amore and Cans Between the Teeth, Being's Notion. We've had like Balance Composure a few times as well. So there are bands that I guess we sound like, but the influence that sits behind it isn't necessarily a direct reference of what we make, I guess.
So the album's still fairly new. What does it feel like to have it out and be touring on all this new material?
Yeah, it's a bit of a weird one because we had a very staggered release. So obviously it came out in the UK end of last September, and then it came out in America a few weeks ago, and then it came out in Australia like a week ago. So there are still people who are like having a fresh reaction to it. So it doesn't feel that old to us, even though we were sat on it for quite a while before it actually came out as well. So to us, I guess the material is kind of older, but we're still getting people coming through and being like, I've just listened to this because like it's only just become available where I live. And even there are some people that like are fans of the band, but instead of like pirating it or like finding other ways to download it, actually waited until it came out, which is really nice. And, but yeah, it's great. I mean, we have people. The Heaven and Hell tour was a really good example because it was the first time we were playing to a very split demographic, I guess, because there was quite an obvious division between people who were there for like the heavy side of it and the people who were there for us in Being Is an Ocean. But most nights we would have one or two people come up to the merch desk and say, I wasn't intentionally here to listen to you guys, but it's really cool, I found a new band, so it's nice to kind of be getting those fresh reactions and kind of fresh feedback on it all the time. So yeah, it makes it feel like it's not that old to us, which is really nice.
So is it an odd concept sort of seeing people have your lyrics, your artwork on them, like tattooed on them and stuff?
I mean, I've got it. So yeah, I mean, I don't think it's weird or anything. It's because I've always said that I've never actually written music with anybody else's perspective in mind. I've always just written for myself and from my own experience and kind of just as a means of documentation. And then hearing people's interpretation of that has always been very, very interesting to me when people come up and they say, I think this song's about this, or I've had this experience and I think I can relate to this song because of it. And more often than not, it's not exactly the same frame of mind that I was in when writing it. So to hear that from people has always been really interesting. And then obviously we've had quite a few people who have had the artwork, the illustration kind of tattooed on them, but we've had quite a few where they've gone away with their tattoo artists and kind of drawn their own interpretations of depictions of the lyrics and things, which has always been really interesting as well to see what they come out with.
In terms of the album, Bloom is just a brilliant start to what's a perfect album, but what's the background behind the song?
So Bloom, I'm trying to put it into words because in the book I did a bit of a walkthrough of each song and I always end up just kind of paraphrasing what I've already said about it. So I'm trying to think of something original. It's about a kind of cycle of self-deprecation, I guess, and isolation as a product of depression. So it's kind of the desire to want to help yourself, but putting kind of a barrier in, kind of making your own obstacles, I suppose, and kind of understanding that you are the cause of the problem, but not understanding how to push past that, I guess.
And keeping on the topic of songs, Teeth is such an emotional song, and the use of sign language adds a whole new level of intensity. What was it like doing the video and learning sign language for it?
So I work for Gwent Police, and I work in the interpretation and translation department of Gwent Police. So that's how I got the link into sign language. But the reason we wanted to do it is because we were originally toying with the idea of a lyric video, and we were always really hesitant because we've kind of set a bar for ourselves where we said we want to push ourselves creatively and we don't want to settle on kind of just bog standard everyday ideas, I guess. So we were really put off the idea of like a typography video with just like the lyrics popping out, because whenever I see one of those, I never really sit down and watch them. I normally just put them on YouTube and then just minimize it and go do something else. I just want to listen to the song. So we wanted to do something where we could include the lyrics in some form, but not necessarily just have them kind of popping out on the screen. And then I ended up emailing one of the sign language interpreters that works for my department and saying, would they be interested in kind of making an artistic representation of the lyrics, because the sign language in the video isn't a direct translation, because this is something I didn't know at the time, but sign language isn't just a direct reflection of English. It's its own language. It has its own grammatical structure and its own syntax and things. So she said that it's not possible to make just a direct translation as such. But it was really cool. It was a really interesting process. The lady who was teaching me was incredibly patient, which was nice. 'Cause it took me ages to just learn it parrot fashion. And yeah, when we were filming it, we filmed it at like 2 o'clock in the morning because the building we were in, it's actually like office buildings. So we had to wait until like everything was closed and stuff, and the only time that we could rent it really cheaply was like super late at night. So I was like dying as well, and just thinking, oh my god, if I mess this up, someone's going to pick up on it some way. But yeah, it was really cool, and like I said, we just wanted to do something that was a bit different, and that's what the product of it was.
So earlier you mentioned the book. Will you be writing another book soon? Or is this plans?
Potentially, I've got an idea for kind of a second one, but it kind of just depends on, because the stuff I've been writing lately will probably go towards whatever we end up doing next musically, and there's quite a lot of what I feel will be excess material, so I probably will end up doing something else, but it depends how it goes.
So you guys are on Slam Dunk this year. Are you looking forward to it?
Yeah, it's going to be really cool. Last year was actually the first year that I went to Slam Dunk. It's one of those festivals that I've always meant to go to, because I do kind of exclusively attend indoor festivals because I'm far too prissy to do anything with mud. But yeah, I went last year mainly because my friends Hellions were playing, and funnily enough, they were playing the stage that we're playing this year in the same slot as well. So it's a kind of weird to see how far they've come since then, because they've come back over and done some like crazy stuff, and they're doing really well at home as well. So kind of going from one side of the barrier to the other side in 12 months is kind of strange. But yeah, we're really looking forward to it. Again, it's one of those things where it's such a diverse lineup. We're not really concerned about how we're going to be perceived, especially coming off the back of like the Impericon festivals and things. That was a big part of it, where we were saying, we were quite, and the Heaven and Hell tour as well, where we were thinking, oh, are we going to have to play our heavier songs, or should we just kind of stick to what we're comfortable with? And we ended up just kind of going with whatever we wanted to, and it was so well received that we kind of now less concerned about what we play, and we just think we might as well just kind of stick to being comfortable and doing what we like, and then if people like it, they like it, and if they don't, they don't, and that's just how it goes.
So who will you guys be watching at Slam Dunk?
Two of the bands that I wanted to watch, we clash with, which sucks. I really wanted to go see Sorority Noise and Trophy Eyes, and we're playing at the same time as both of them, which is rubbish. Later in the evening, though, I'll go and see the guys in Boston Manor, just to be nice to see them on like a bigger stage and stuff. I want to see the Bronx. I want to see Against Me. Most of my time is going to be spent at the Signature Brew stage, I'll be honest. That's kind of my scene, I guess. But yeah, I don't know who I'm going to see out of the headlines either. I want to go see Don Broco, because I think there'll just be a huge party. But yeah, just kind of hang around and just fleet between stages and see what I pick up on.
And finally, have you got anything to say to the viewers?
Oh, I'm always rubbish at this. Because again, I try this like veer away from the cliche, I guess. Thanks for watching, your support means the world, because every band thinks that.
Okay, Boston Manor with what we've just had.
Yeah, every band thinks that. Like, you're a dick if you don't think that. So, stay in school and vegetables are your friends.
Okay, thank you, and thank you for watching. Turn it louder.